Update. You think throwing money around makes you one of us? My mother said as my family turned my baby shower, which I paid for, into my sister's engagement party and locked me out. So, I made one phone call, and 10 minutes later, they showed up at my house screaming. But I was just getting started. Part 2. Understood. I'll handle it now. Click. Ava frowned. Wait, what do you mean, cancel everything? I slid my phone back into my purse. Oh, you'll see. And then, without another word, I turned and walked away. I didn't need to see their reactions, not yet. Because in exactly 10 minutes, when the catering company pulled out, the waitstaff walked away, and their guests stood in an empty, undecorated venue, that's when they'd truly understand. So, after getting locked out of my own baby shower, which had secretly been turned into my sister's engagement party, I made a call. Cancel everything. And then I walked away. I thought that would be the end of it. I was wrong. Because less than 10 minutes later, my entire family showed up at my house, screaming. I had just stepped into my apartment when the first call came. Mom, incoming call. I let it ring. Then came another. Ava, incoming call. Declined. Then a text from Aunt Linda. Rachel, what did you do? The venue is empty. The guests are standing around looking confused. Call me now. I smirked. Good. I barely had time to toss my purse onto the counter before I heard it, tires screeching outside. A moment later, there was a furious pounding on my door. Bang. 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 Rachel, open this door right now. I took my time. I wanted them to wait. By the time I finally swung the door open, my mother, Ava, and two of my aunts were standing on my doorstep, red-faced and shaking with rage. What did you do? My mother hissed through gritted teeth. I leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed. Oh, you mean the engagement party? The one you replaced my baby shower with? The one you didn't even bother to tell me about? Ava shoved past me into my apartment. You ruined everything. She shrieked, turning so fast her heels nearly slipped against my floor. Do you have any idea how humiliated I am right now? All my friends were there, Rachel. The photographer was already set up. The engagement cake was in the back, waiting to be brought out. And then, poof. Nothing. No food, no drinks, no decorations. Just a bunch of guests standing there looking stupid. I stared at her, unimpressed. You mean exactly how I looked when I showed up to my baby shower and found out I wasn't welcome? Ava's lips curled in fury. That was different, she snapped. I raised an eyebrow. How? Because a baby shower is small, Rachel? An engagement is a real celebration? Mom did what was best for the family? You seriously can't see the difference? My fingers curled into fists. The difference, I said, voice low, is that I never would have done that to you. Ava rolled her eyes. Oh, don't act like some tragic victim. You got pregnant from a guy who didn't even stick around, and you expected Mom to throw a huge party for that? It's embarrassing. Silence. I felt my stomach twist. Ava must have seen the flicker of pain in my expression because she smiled. Oh, please. You think you deserve the same attention as me? She taunted. I'm marrying into an amazing family. I have a future, a husband, a real life. What do you have, Rachel? Huh? I swallowed hard, not because she was right, but because she was exactly like Mom. And that's when I knew they would never change. Get out, I said. Ava scoffed. Excuse me? I met her gaze, steady and sharp. I said, get out. She opened her mouth to argue, but then my phone rang, loud, sharp, cutting through the tension like a knife. The familiar professional ringtone I had set weeks ago. My mother stiffened. Ava frowned. Who is that? I smiled. Perfect timing. I pulled out my phone, turned the screen toward them, and watched their faces pale at the name flashing across it. Attorney John Reynolds, incoming call. I answered. Hello? My lawyer's voice came through, crisp and calm. Just confirming that all transactions have been officially voided. Your financial separation from your family is now in effect. A slow, satisfied smirk spread across my lips. Thank you, John, I said sweetly. I appreciate you handling it so quickly. Click. I turned back to them. Silence. My mother's expression had gone completely blank. Ava looked like she might actually pass out. What does that mean? She finally choked. It means, I said cheerfully, I'm officially cutting all financial ties. No more helping out. No more covering for your mistakes. No more sending money when Mom calls crying about unexpected expenses. I turned to my mother. Oh, and by the way, I called the bank. That credit card you secretly took out in my name? Yeah, they know it was fraud now. Ava gasped. Mom, you said she wouldn't notice. My mother flinched but said nothing. I left. Oh, and before I forget, Ava, she looked at me, still pale. You might want to check your wedding budget. Because that $5,000 deposit you used my name for? It's been flagged. Have fun explaining that to your fancy fiancé. Ava screeched, you are insane. She lunged forward, but I stepped back and slammed the door in her face. For the first time in my life, I shut them out. And it felt incredible. It's been 2 weeks since I slammed the door in my family's face, since I exposed the fraud, cut off their money supply, and left them standing outside my apartment in shock. I thought that was the end of it. I should have known better. Because now, my mother is trying to ruin my life. For the first time in years, I felt free. I woke up the next morning without the usual knot in my stomach. No guilt, no stress, no fear of an early morning call demanding money. Just silence. It was strange at first. I had spent years living on edge, waiting for the next emergency, the next guilt trip, the next financial crisis that would only be temporary but somehow always ended up being my responsibility. Now, nothing. No texts, no calls. My mother had finally given up. Or so I thought. 1 week later, it started small. A text from an unknown number: "You were being ridiculous, Rachel. Family is family. Call your mother." Blocked. Then a voicemail from Aunt Linda: "Rachel, honey, I don't know what's going on between you and your mom, but she's devastated. She's been crying for days. She told me you just cut her off out of nowhere. Sweetie, that's not like you. At least talk to her." Delete. Then the bomb dropped. I walked into work that morning, coffee in hand, ready for a normal day. But the moment I stepped inside, the whispers started. People were looking at me, staring. I felt the shift immediately. Something was wrong. I made my way to my desk, ignoring the murmurs, and opened my email. Subject: urgent, Rachel Wright. My stomach dropped. I clicked it open. "Rachel, please come to my office as soon as you see this. There's a serious concern we need to discuss." Lisa Porter, HR manager. I barely had time to process the email before my phone buzzed. Incoming call: Lisa Porter, HR. I swallowed hard and picked up. "Rachel?" Lisa's voice was careful, measured. "Can you come upstairs?" No. I didn't ask questions. I just went. Lisa's office was bright, modern, lined with bookshelves and certificates that made it clear she took her job seriously. She gestured for me to sit, her expression unreadable. "Rachel," she started slowly, "we received a complaint about you." I blinked. A complaint? She hesitated before sliding a printed email across the desk. I picked it up, and my blood ran cold. "To whom it may concern. I am writing to formally report. You can click on share and more to see if there is a part 3.